What an interesting one, hey? Neural synchrony. Let's have a look. This is fun. Get the screen out of my way. Neural synchrony. Synchrony. This article is about the correlation of brain activity across two or more people. The general concept in a single nervous system. See neural oscillation. On top of this, we also have, inside of here, it's a Wikipedia page. Now, if there's any contested anything, and if you know anything about Wikipedia, it says it right here, right at the top of the page here, not over there, in the middle of the page, right here somewhere, it says this is regarded as pseudoscience if there's any question about it. But there's not. It is not questionable. It is absolutely regarded as accepted fact around the world that two or more brains can share and affect each other over a distance in a period of time. Neural synchrony is the correlation of brain activity across two or more people over time. In social and affective neuroscience, neural synchrony specifically refers to the degree of similarity between the spatiotemporal neural fluctuations of multiple people. Spatiotemporal, as in space-time. Neural fluctuations, neural brain waves through space and time. And it is thought to be the neural substrate for many forms of interpersonal dynamics and shared experience. Okay, so I've skipped a line there. Spatiotemporal neural fluctuations for multiple people. This phenomenon represents the convergence and coupling of different people's neurocognitive systems. Okay, neurocognitive defined as functions are cognitive functions closely linked to the function of particular areas, neural pathways, or cortical networks in the brain, ultimately served by the substrate of the brain's neurological matrix. Okay, so this phenomenon represents the convergence and coupling of different people's neurocognitive systems, and it is thought to be the neural substrate for many forms of interpersonal dynamics and shared experiences. Let me repeat that in common language. This is thought to be a major contributing factor to your daily experience of reality, and always has been, that you share your thoughts and experiences with the people around you outside of your communication with them. And by communication, I mean verbal communication. Or if you're deaf, signed verbal, like sign language is still considered a language in terms of communicating language. So without any communicating language, without any sign language or any writing language or any literal sign, like none of that, without any of that, you still have a lot of your shared experiences through this brain-to-brain coupling intersubject correlation, although we're jumping ahead again. Some research also refers to neurosynchrony as interbrain synchrony. Interbrain as in from the insides of the brain to the insides of the brain, not by attaching a cord from this brain to this brain here. There's no external cord connection here. It is an internal connection. As an interbrain synchrony, as in synchronization through the interbrain mediums, brain to brain, as in literally through brain to brain, direct access from brain to brain coupling, as in like conjoining and bringing themselves into alignment. What's a better word? Constructive interference, bringing each other into constructive interference through entrainment with each other. Intersubject correlation. I mean, I hate some of these scientific words like this because they're just, some of them are just, yeah, define Esquire. Esquire, that was for somebody else I was helping out with something to do with law. Intersubject correlation. ISC analyzes an increasing popular approach to isolating stimulus-induced correlations for spontaneous intrinsic activity and non-neuronal signals. So it's a method of analysis. All right, we could probably find out some more fascinating information on that, but we're going to stick on subject here. So intersubject correlation between brain connectivity or neural coupling Neural coupling, that's one of those ones that you really want to pay attention to, because when you understand on a quantum mechanics level and a unified physics level what coupling means, then you can clearly see what's going on with the brain here. There is phenomenal things happening, and most people have no concept or regard for them in any level whatsoever. But you are a dynamically trans-dimensional, as in across many dimensions being that you are, and you're able to utilize that or not. You can shut it off and say, I'm only focused on this one experienced dimension that I'm living in right now. Or you can go, you know what, I've got some emotional problems. I'm going to need to take care of that, but I don't want to go to the psychologist or therapist, so I'm just going to have to go internally to myself in another state than what would be externally regular for you in your social environments and social interactions with your world around you. For internal processing and holistic, pardon me, I got a burp, and holistic approaches towards taking on the inner in a more holistic way. Some research also refers to neural synchrony as inter-brain. I'm repeating this again specifically. As inter-brain synchrony, brain-to-brain coupling, inter-subject correlation between brain connectivity or neural coupling. In current literature, neural synchrony is notably distinct from inter-brain synchrony, sometimes also called neural synchrony, which denotes the coupling of activity across regions of a single individual's brain. Neural synchrony approaches represent an important theoretical and methodological. Theoretical is in, it's really hard to prove. It doesn't mean that it's fake. Theory can mean unable to be substantiated in physical reality. Like quantum mechanics is still classified as a theory, but that's because you can't touch a quark ever. So in that sense, it will only ever remain as something that we can think about and not something that we can touch. And so because it remains a thought realm experience, it's classified under the same word as theoretical and methodological. Contribution to the field. Since its conception, studies of neural synchrony have helped elucidate the mechanisms underlying social phenomena, including communication, narrative processing, coordination, and cooperation. By emphasizing the social dynamics of the brain, this area of research has played a critical role in making neuroscience more attuned to people's social proclivities, a perspective that is often lost on individual level approaches to understanding the brain. And then we go into some blah, 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 blah about all the crap around it. And there will be some very interesting information through there. I did have a quick look, although for the most part, it's just usual crap, which is, well, and the rest of it. So what I'm trying to point out here is very clearly there is a lot of information out there that is considered mainstream about this idea of telepathy, mind-to-mind communication, direct information transfer at a distance, non-local communication. Non-local communication means communication that doesn't require cause and effect in a traditional sense. Like when I speak, the air is being vibrated from my voice box, and it's being vibrated to the speakers here, which is being vibrated in the speakers and then replicated back to you so you can hear what I'm saying to you. That's local, because it's using local bits and pieces to bump across the distance through particles of connected moments, or spaces as we call them. It doesn't necessarily have to be like that. It can jump from like one location to another, and we view it as jumping, although it's usually referred to as quantum tunneling, or direct inter-brain coupling, or brain-to-brain coupling, or non-local communication, or brain-to-brain connectivity, or neural coupling. There's all these brain synchrony. There's all of these different words and ways in which we love to confuse people and the masses. And then what's more on top of that is we've got some super egotistical professionals out there who fail to understand the idea of developing technologies and developing models of understanding, and instead are operating under the idea that we have that's it And that's it, and no more shall it ever change. That will be it. And that is completely inappropriate. If that was the case, we would still be floundering and floundering with trying to get the radio across a room. Because the first time that the radio was invented, the FM, AM radio back then, was sending a signal in a completely, almost inaudible format from one side of a room to another side of a room. Now we have the ability to send that information to people in aircraft away from the ground. So you don't need wires to do it anymore. So how we're still running on the idea that tiny little neural phenomena that we can't explain, like Nueral Synchrony and other things like this, which get written over the top of and underappreciated due to the fact that everybody out there within the Wikipedia scientific community has to still operate under the flagship of telepathy does not exist, except neural synchrony and information transfer from across time and space via quantum mechanics and quantum interaction is absolutely grounded in fact. But in every area of reality except telepathy, there's just complete misunderstanding and complete disregard for what is actually intelligent inquiry out here. And I look forward to that changing. And that's the reason why I'm going to get a lot more vocal about this. Is because if you think telepathy is the big one, you're missing the big picture. Telepathy is the baby step here. Telepathy is the beginning of it. Okay? The very beginning. Neural synchrony, neural oscillations, all these fun things, neurology, very fun. Don't go to prove anything, but just go to show you that there's more evidence for you to feel more confident about what you already experience. Because like this says right here, okay, this phenomenon represents convergence and coupling of different people's neurocognitive systems, and it is thought to be the neural substrate for many forms of interpersonal dynamics and shared experiences. As in, neural synchrony is thought to be the substrate, the very structure that telepathy could use to transfer information across to allow for many forms of interpersonal dynamics and shared experiences. But telepathy does not exist, apparently. Do you see the dichotomy? Can we stop with the bullshit and call the elephant in the room already on all of these different subjects, because it's fucking ridiculous. It's very clear. If you have any awareness of what's actually going on up here, not on the internet, I mean up here in yourself, in your own awareness field, if you have any awareness, then you know that telepathy is very real, and that's the prime method of communication for all of nature. That all animals communicate with humans and all plants communicate with humans, and they do so not through the technology that we call language. They don't pick up a pen and they don't write in a book and they don't send us a letter and go, here you go, Mr. Man, here's a letter for you. They don't talk to you using language, although they talk to you using meaning. And when that reaches your mind, if you have the capacity, your automatic information processing will translate that universal source energy into the meaning that it's representing in relevant context for you at your space and time nodal point in the connected unified field. Makes sense? Very good. Have a good day.